Alright, now listen here, my friends. This segment is going to work a lot just like the last one, where I'm bringing you news and I'm reading you headlines. But the difference is, this is all Mario Bros. Wonder focused, and not just Mario Bros. Wonder focused. I'm not gonna bring you news that you saw in the direct, oh, Wonder Seeds do this, or everyone turns into elephants. I'm not doing that right now. I'll discuss that later on, but I'm not bringing you news that you know about. Unless you do know about it, then, if you're a hardcore, maybe you know. But otherwise, we're bringing you that good stuff. So, let's go through some news that was not included in the direct, and, rightfully so, should not have been included in the direct. It makes no sense to be in there. So, let's go through. We have some developer talk to start us off. So, let's go through here. We have found out that Takashi Tezuka is the producer of Mario Bros. Wonder. For the hardcores who know who that is, you got your joy from that. If you don't know who Takashi Tezuka is, I understand. I didn't really for the longest time. I didn't know who he was. But we even, I believe, mentioned him earlier with the whole Pikmin 5 thing. Takashi Tezuka, who also works on Pikmin 4. Remember how we were talking about, Pikmin 5 is coming faster than Pikmin 4 is, and we're talking about how they didn't want to let everyone wait. That was a quote from Takashi Tezuka. We've already mentioned him in the podcast. He works on Pikmin, he works on Mario, and he is the producer of Mario Bros. Wonder. And Shiro Mori, I better be saying that right. If I'm not, roast me in the comments, okay? Because that's how I'm saying it, okay? Is the director for Mario Bros. Wonder. And I just checked Twitter. Dude, they're at the Nintendo Live event in Seattle. They're taking pictures with the Mario mascots. They're freaking playing Mario Wonder. They're taking some funny pictures over there. I love those guys. I've never met them, and I love them. So, with that said, there's a strong team behind the Mario Bros. Wonder game. People who have worked on Mario before, worked on other games. It should be real good. Now, in terms of what actually might intrigue you here, aside from that, Mario Bros. Wonder, here's a headline for you. Mario Bros. Wonder had no development deadline, plus over 2,000 gameplay ideas. They had over 2,000 gameplay ideas for this game. Now, let's start with the first bit. This game had no development deadline. So, normally, let's say they assign Pikmin 5 to be worked on. They'll say have it done by 2030, okay? They'll give you a deadline for most games. This game had no deadline. Just go bananas. And honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, this game is probably going to be great. Probably going to be, fantastic. Maybe we should start setting more deadlines, because that took 10 years. Maybe we should start. Guys, come on. Maybe 10 years? Come on, 10 years. Come on. Maybe we need deadlines. Maybe it's a very, very good thing. Because, okay, no matter how great the game is, Tears of the Kingdom didn't take that long. And that's phenomenal. We can make it in less than 10 years, right? Come on now. Obviously, there's many side projects like Mario Maker and all the rest of it. But, come on, 6 years maybe. Maybe. I say there needs to be a new Mario Big Bang game every 5 years. Mainline, anyway. Come on. Maybe we need deadlines. And then over 2,000 game ideas. Or gameplay ideas. That's big. Dude, they have brains over there. If you have over 2,000 gameplay ideas, you know that you selected the right people to be in charge. Because, bro, I probably would have come up, I would have got 5. Which is why I'm not working as, a game developer. I'm not for that. They thought of 2,000 gameplay ideas. That's a lot of ideas. Where do you even write that? Like a Google Doc? Where do you write that down? I don't know. That's a lot of ideas. Anyways, they had that many ideas, and they focused in on the ones that they thought were best. Meaning, if they thought of every idea possible, they had to have chose the best ones, and therefore this game is gonna probably be very good. Like this sounds like they just like went all in on trying to make the best Mario game. No deadline, so many ideas, choosing the best idea out of 2,000. You know, they went all in here. So that's an interesting headline. Now, another interesting thing from Shiro Mori, who did an interview with IGN's Ryan McCaffrey. Shiro Mori wanted a stress-free experience with Mario Bros. Wonder. Before I read the quotes from him explaining what he meant by that and how he achieved that, this game looks pretty stressful. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? I love what I'm seeing, but there's no way to sugarcoat the amount of times they died while recording gameplay footage for the Direct. Like, they died like several times in the game. If they're dying playing the game for trailer footage, the game's got to be stressful. And not even just that. Like, if you look at like the ending, where you know, they flash to like 15 different scenes of the game. Like, there's a lot of things in there that look very, very difficult. So really, I don't know that this was a stress-free experience, but let's read what he had to say on it and what he means by a stress-free experience. So this is a long quote from the interview. If you don't want to hear how this is a stress-free experience, feel free to skip, because once again, this is a decently long quote, possibly the longest quote that we've read on the podcast ever. But it's interesting, so I'm going to read it to you. I thought it was cool. Let's go. Here's what Shiro Mori had to say about making the game a stress-free experience. Quote, "So first of all, we didn't design the game such that it should be played in multiplayer or that it should be played in single player. We designed it such that it's enjoyable for both types of play. And what we wanted to make sure we do is that it's up to the player whether they want to play single player or local multiplayer or online multiplayer. What we really made sure to do and kept in mind from a game design perspective is to avoid making courses or areas where it's best enjoyed in multiplayer or best enjoyed in single player. We kept in mind to make everything such that it's enjoyable however you play it. The fact that you can select all 12 characters freely, or the fact that you can go to any of the courses within a world freely, those are meant to be such that whether you are playing single player or multiplayer, you can enjoy them to the full extent. And what we wanted to make sure we do this time with the concept of multiplayer is whether it's online or local multiplayer, that we provide a stress-free environment and experience. Some specific things we did was, for example, we got rid of the idea that players bump into each other, because, for example, Elephant Mario is very big, or there's a Wonder where Mario becomes very, very tall. And so we wanted to make sure that the gameplay experience, regardless of any of those things happening, becomes a stress-free experience. And the concept behind the online play this time is the idea of casual connection. And what this means is that being able to approach the multiplayer game with a single-player vibe, in that the matchmaking happens behind the scenes, so you don't have to wait for other players to join, and this also contributes to a stress-free experience. That is the entire quote. So that's a long quote. Honestly, I made it sound shorter than it looked. And honestly, when he was talking about how players no longer, bump into each other, when I read that, I didn't even remember that you could bump into people while playing Mario Bros. Multiplayer. I didn't even remember that at first. I thought, because it's been a while. I've not played a Mario game since 2021 when I replayed Mario Bros. U Deluxe. It's been a while, right? So I forgot that you can even bump into people. And so that's actually very cool that it sounds like you can go right through people. That's a stress-free experience, as he's saying. I do like that change a lot. And also, it's a bit more of a chaotic game, as he was saying. So being able to not bump into people is nice. And I guess, it's not stress-free as in the game would not have any difficulty. It's stress-free in the way that the gameplay works. And that's kind of what I get from that. So then we have more quotes, but very, very interesting ones. Like, I don't always read the news that I talk about until like the day or the day before that I'm going to talk about it. This one I read immediately because I was so interested. So, the headline reads, Shigeru Miyamoto wasn't a fan of Elephant Mario. This is actually kind of surprised. Like it surprised me. When I read that, I was like, I thought, Miyamoto would have totally been on board with an Elephant Mario. But I guess that is not at all the case. So, in an interview with IGN, just like the last one, Takashi Tezuka and Shiro Mori talked about this. Here is what Takashi Tezuka had to say in the interview about Mr. Miyamoto. And if you don't know, Miyamoto created Mario. Miyamoto has crafted Mario and created Mario, the man behind Mario. So this is big. Takashi Tezuka said, sometimes he would come by where we are working and look at things and give some opinions. He would generally observe things and make comments here and there, and even things that didn't seem like they were big comments. I have worked with Mr. Miyamoto for a long time and really understand him, so I was able to get what he was implying or getting to, and we would have conversations around those sort of topics. And then Shiro Mori said he did have a comment about Elephant Mario. It was a phase where we had tentative visuals for Elephant Mario, and we had plans to adjust the visuals already, but he had come and taken a look before that, and he gave us the sharp comment that this doesn't look like a Mario character. Along the same topics, there was the idea of how Elephant Mario sprays water. He came and said that if an elephant was actually spraying water, it wouldn't move that way. And that was an example of feedback he gave us. So Miyamoto was very critical, but rightfully so. And I wouldn't even say very critical. Just when the character that you created is in someone else's hands and they make an elephant out of it, it's like, you want it to look you want it to look a proper way. And he didn't love what he saw, but like they said, they were already going to make changes, and so Miyamoto has had an influence on the entire game. While he's not like one of the head roles because he's working on other stuff, he's had an influence, and that's still great. I am not ready for the day when Miyamoto has no involvement in a Mario game. Will it still be a fantastic game? I'm sure. But, there's something special knowing that Miyamoto also enjoys the game and had his input on it once again, although not being the head developer. He has had his touch on the game. And then, one other interesting piece of news coming from Necro Felipe on Twitter, who's kind of like an insider. They have tweeted out that you're actually able to mute the flower voices in the game. So if you had seen in the original, announcement trailer, there's that flower and there's many other flowers that'll talk to you. One of them goes onward and upward, like those flowers. Well, here's the thing. You can actually change a setting where you can mute them totally and turn them off, so therefore they are just normal flowers, or you can mute them but still have the text appear on the screen, or leave them as they are. Now I believe by default they are of course going to be on and talking and showing text, but you can turn off their audio, you can turn off the flowers in their entirety. So that's a cool feature. Will I be using it? I have put on a narrative that I don't like the Mario flowers, but no, I love the Mario flowers, and I do think I'm gonna leave the sound on. It's just it's part of the game, it's kind of a hard thing for me to turn off if it's part of the game, so I'm keeping it on. But that is the Mario Bros. Wonder news that you might not have heard about, and you certainly didn't hear about just in the Direct alone. Well, look at that. You just finished a clip from my podcast, The Mario Matters. Seems like you enjoyed it. You watched the entire thing. Why not watch the full podcast right up here? Maybe even subscribe while you're at it. Maybe even leave a like if you're feeling nice. Any of those things. See you over there.